Hello, everyone. I'm Dijon,
Namayera.
and welcome to the Mustardcast, the podcast about the art of storytelling and how it's used across different mediums. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see our channel grow, and to click the notification bell so that you're notified when we post. As usual, free Palestine, and do everything you can to support them. So, what uh, cartoons you've been watching lately?
Um, I don't really have many. One big one that we're gonna talk about later, but I have been watching a little bit of Chowder as of late. Kind of missed it in the animation style. It's still very silly, but the more that I watch Chowder, the more I realized that it was really misogynistic. like, um, for the most part, it's like ignorable, because it's like a very much like a one-off joke every once in a while. But sometimes there are episodes of Chowder where it's like, how did this pass the writers' room? This is kind of insane. Uh, but other than the misogyny, it's still just as good as I remember. Yeah. Besides that big thing, that's pretty much it.
Cool. For me, I finally finished up watching Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes alongside Blind Wave, and I've moved on to watching Justice League the Animated Series alongside them on I think episode 4 now. I decided to catch up on Sakamoto Days. I had dropped it. I was like, I'm not gonna watch Sakamoto Days, but I was like, you know what? I like Sakamoto Days, so I started watching it again. So I'm finishing up the rest of season 1, which was split in half, and now I think it's the size of a normal season, except that it was split up, so it's like 20 something episodes. So yeah, finishing that up. Still watching Ranma, one half, the second season, which is currently airing, and I watched Splinter Cell Death Watch, all 8 episodes on Netflix, and I'll talk a bit about that in the review section. And I also watched the first episode of Fiona and Cake, which is back at season 2, which I'll also talk about later. Um, I watched Spirited Away for the first time in theaters. Well, for the first time in general, but also I saw it in theaters. And I try to watch Ghibli movies in theaters whenever they are in theaters during Ghibli Fest. And Spirited Away was in theaters, so I was like, let me check that out. I've seen all the big ones so far. The
Mm-hmm.
only one remaining is My Neighbor Totoro. Um,
That's a very divisive take. As to say, for a second, I thought you weren't counting Spirited Away as one of the big ones, and I was like, that's a hot take. But
yeah, no, I'm saying I've seen all the big ones. I've seen Princess Mononoke. I just saw Spirited Away. I saw the last one, the most recent one. I saw that one in theaters when it came out. Um,
mm-hmm.
I've seen Ponyo. I've seen Howl's Moving Castle. I've seen Kiki's Delivery Service. So the last like big one, like major one of the most popular ones that I haven't seen is My Neighbor Totoro. So that's the last one of the big ones. And then there are other ones I want to see, like Nazca and the Valley of the Wind, and
Right.
the one with the pig pilot dude.
I think that might also be Nausicaa, but I'm unsure.
No, that has a P name. It's like Pinocchio or something like that. That's
Oh,
but yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. There's a few other ones I still want to see after
Mm-hmm.
after that, and I just want to rewatch House Moving Castle in theaters. I saw it at home, and I was like, I want to watch that again. To this day, it's still my favorite one.
It's a good one.
I'm trying to remember whether or not I saw Kiki's Delivery Service in theaters or not. I think I did. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I saw Kiki's Delivery Service in theaters. The only one I didn't see in theaters is Ponyo,
Mm,
which admittedly I don't care to watch Ponyo again. Um, it's not my
hot
favorite.
take.
Um,
That's real.
I don't dislike it, but it's like it wasn't so good that I was like, gotta watch Ponyo again. I'd also seen Ponyo a lot because my teacher loves Ponyo and she played it a lot in class in high school. So I'd seen Ponyo. I've seen
Makes
enough
sense.
Ponyo for a lifetime.
That makes sense.
But I want to see what was it? How's Moving Castle? I want to see that one in theaters.
That's all. Yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, Boy and the Heron is going to be in theaters again in November. I'm not going to see it again in theaters, but it will be in theaters
I
again.
might. I might. I really like that movie a lot.
I liked it too. But yeah, moving on to reviews because we don't have any trailers or news to go over today. So yeah, going back to Splinter Cell Death Watch. It's an animated series for those that don't know. And I went in with zero expectations, good or bad. So I was very pleasantly surprised by how good it was. They do a really good job capturing the essence of stealth action in a way that I didn't think possible. And it's just it was just much better than I was expecting. It in a lot of ways it is exactly how I want a Metal Gear to be adapted in animation, because I want Metal Gear
Mm.
adapted in animation, even though I wouldn't mind it adapted in live action. Lee Schreiber, who I know as Cotton Weary in the Scream movies. He's Sabretooth in X Men Origins Wolverine, and he voices Kingpin in Into the Spider Verse. He voices Sam Fisher in place of the retired Michael Ironside, and he does a great job recreating like Michael Ironside's timbre and the way that he voices Sam Fisher. And I wouldn't mind him taking over in the video games as well. You know, there's that remake that they've been talking about that who knows if that'll still happen.
Yeah,
With Ubisoft being weird, but
right.
hopefully it does. The story is written by John Wick writer Derek Kolstad,
Oh
and
wow.
it definitely shows because there are a lot of John Wick qualities to the world building of Splinter Cell's secret organizations, and that's one of the strongest parts of John Wick's writing as well. But yeah, overall, I'd give this series like a 3.5 out of 5. It was solid, no pun intended. Uh, but it is very much an example of how I would like to see Metal Gear Solid adapted in animation. It was really fun.
Makes sense.
I definitely suggest checking it out. Fiona Cake is back with season 2, and it was barely advertised. I found out that season 2 is back because I was watching the Normies React to Adventure Time season 2, and then someone in the comments said, "Oh, this and Fiona Cake on the same day," and I was like, "What? I didn't know Fiona Cake was out." So I watched it. The
Right.
first episode. It comes out on Thursdays, and it was good. There's a reason why WB is for sale right now, and I hope that whoever buys it is able to return them to their pre-Zaslav glory. Because when HBO Max first came out, WB was on top. They were doing so good when HBO Max first came out. They had all of their shows on there. Everything from Cartoon Network was on there. They were greenlighting a bunch of new shows. It was awesome. And all the Studio Ghibli still on there, thank God. Thank God Zaslav's dumbass didn't mess that up. And
Right.
they still have all of the Ghibli movies, and hopefully it stays that way, including the new ones. So please, for love of God, WB, do not mess that up for us, okay? I need that. But yeah, Fiona and Cake is out despite WB not advertising it. But if you're a Adventure Time fan, it's basically a sequel series in a lot of ways. And I can't remember whether or not you finished the first season. I know you
I
watched it.
did not. I did watch part of it. Yes, I need to finish it. And now that season 2 is out, like now I had no more excuse. So I'll probably get on that within the next couple days because I'm really interested in it. It's just like starting new shows is really hard for me. And also,
Well, you can
I
think of
have
it
to.
of
I can't.
continuing an old show.
Right. As I say, I haven't sat and like watched Adventure Time the whole way through in so long.
I didn't
It's like
watch all
literally.
of it. I watched like the first. I've watched the first 3 seasons several times, and then episodes in between that, and then the finale, and
Makes
that's
sense.
all of Adventure Time for me. One day I'll have to finish it.
Yeah. Considering going back to it, just for the kicks and giggles, like, and as a refresher for myself, like the original Adventure Time series, and then watching Fiona and Cake, and I think that'll really encourage me to like actually watch it. LOL.
Yeah, but I forget that Fiona and Cake has a more mature rating than Adventure Time.
Mm-hmm.
They be cursing. But it's not like they don't use it in a crass way. They use the mature rating wisely. And
Mm-hmm.
has the show grow up with this audience. It's there's some cursing in
Yeah.
it, but not a lot. Um, there's actual blood now when people like
Oh
get
wow.
limbs cut off, but not a lot. Except one scene. One scene there was a lot of blood, but not like a disgusting amount. But it was like more than you're used to in Adventure Time, which is zero. Um, at least
Right.
you're not used to like actual blood. Like there's been like colorful, like fake, not kind of fake because the candy people get destroyed all the time. Um,
Yeah, I get what you mean.
but now there's actual blood.
Cartoon blood.
And now
Yeah.
there's like more explicitly implied like sexual tones, but they don't go
Mm,
overboard with any of it. They do it just right
that's
in
good.
terms of like turning this, making this a version of, or sequel series to a show, a kid show, and making it more mature.
Hmm.
But yeah, it seems like this season will feature a lot of Huntress Wizard, based on her heavy inclusion in the opening of the show. So I'm excited to see that. I've not experienced a lot of Huntress Wizard because, like I said, the like latter half of Adventure Time I didn't watch. So it would be fun to get to know Huntress Wizard.
For sure.
But yeah, on to the big thing. Me and you went to go see Chainsaw Man, the Reze Arc
Hmm.
movie in theaters a couple days ago, and we're of course going to start off spoiler free. Um, and it was amazing and the perfect length at 1 hour and 40 minutes versus Demon Slayer's 2 hours and 35 minutes. Uh, it was so good. I was like, we were just in there. We watched it. It was good. Great story. And then we
Let's go back.
left and we went home and it was great. um, Mappa went in a slightly different direction with the animation and art style. But not so much that it feels completely different from the first season. But they're leaning more into the colorfulness of the volume covers of the manga, which are often covered in blood and guts, but the blood and guts are, an unnatural color for blood and guts, and they're usually like pink and green and bright blues and stuff like that. And in our review of the very first season, we discussed how we wish that they did this. And it seems like they've heard the complaints and took them to heart. Because a lot of people weren't a fan of the almost bland aesthetic of the first season in terms of colorization. And uh, I know you were one of them. So how did you feel
I
about the
was.
change?
I was overjoyed to see like Chainsaw Man in the way that I had seen it in my head, like when reading the manga, and like to see it be finally so colorful and so like nice looking. I don't know. It was just really refreshing because that was something I was really scared about when like, hearing about the movie and how it was going to come out soon. I was like I didn't want it to be like as grim dark and gritty as I guess yeah, just gritty, not grim dark, but as like the TV anime was. But then on the same token, it's like I'm like, well, if you could do it for the movie, why not for the show? So it's like there's a kind of retroactive disappointment where it's like, oh, so you were capable of doing it the whole time, you just didn't. But on the same token, I'm like, I'm glad that we got it at all.
Yeah, I imagine that this is what the next season is going to look like now that they've done it,
I
and
hope so.
and they realize that this is what people want. I don't think it was a matter of. I think it was a matter of they went with a very specific direction that they thought was the right direction. They realized it wasn't. Like I think that they
Right.
realized, oh no, people did not want that from this show, and course corrected after hearing all the feedback.
Good.
But yeah, we can't really talk about the plot of this movie without spoilers. So we'll just hop right into spoilers for the movie. Um, but well, I guess we didn't really give our overall thoughts of just like how we actually feel about the movie. Good movie,
Very good movie.
good movie. But like I said, we can't say too much without spoiling it. You should watch it.
Right.
Watch the movie and then come back. Okay, we're gonna get into spoilers.
Definitely.
Um, First off, I couldn't remember if I watched the first season subbed or dubbed. So all of the voices sounded unfamiliar to me, especially Chilchuck and Shinji Ikari actor Casey Mongilo as the Angel Devil. I was like, I don't remember this man voicing this character. I'm confused.
I
But
don't think Angel was voiced in the original series, unless I'm also misremembering. This is a new development.
because I know Angel showed up at the very end, but I can't remember what they sound like. But yeah, maybe it's just been so long I forgot everyone's voices. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I think I did watch it subbed, and that's why. But I mean, the plot of the movie and basically the whole show really is just about Denji being manipulated, and in this one, he's being manipulated by the titular Rezi, who is secretly a human with a devil heart, just like Denji, sent to kill him by the Russian government. And the bomb devil, which is the devil's heart she has, to this day is the coolest devil in the entirety of the series, and this movie only solidified that with the way that
True.
they animated the fight scenes. The way Fujimoto depicts her bomb-based abilities in the manga is awesome and very reminiscent of Bakugo from My Hero mixed with Roy Mustang
Mm.
from Full Metal Alchemist. She uses
Mm-hmm.
explosions to rocket through the sky and enhance her, punches and kicks. But she also sends explosions towards people with a snap of her finger. But more unique to her is that her entire body is a bomb and she can regenerate. So Fujimoto got real creative with that, and Mappa translated that to animation perfectly,
Super
more
well.
than
Yeah.
perfectly, really. How'd you feel about the depiction of the bomb devil in
So
general, and also just Resi as a character?
I was like, I am a Resi enjoyer day one. I have a sticker of her on my work laptop. Like that's my girl, right? And one of my favorite aspects about her character is that like she's super super powerful, but it doesn't feel unbalanced. And I think the way that they animated her came across like made that come across really really well, like way better than the manga did. Not way better than the manga did, but like really really successfully. It's like she felt just strong enough where it's like almost insurmountable, but like there is still that glimmer of hope that she, I don't know, the way like it was all like animated was really really good. But I will say that while the animation was really really good, I think the sound design was even better. The way that like the explosions weren't like diabolically loud, which was something I was concerned about, but they kind of still like were
We all walk
seen
out of the
rather
movie theater with tinnitus.
right. And that's what I was concerned about because I'm like, I know that a lot of anime, especially like animes done by Mappa, will have sound effects that are really, really cool, but are also not mixed very well. And I was concerned about that because this movie is very explosion based, and that's a really hard thing to do. But they managed to pull it off, and it's like it was just immersive enough to where it's like, wow, these explosions are shaking my seat. It's like it's really there, but they weren't like blowing my eardrums out. So really, really good.
then
Best
maybe
word.
then maybe I should have got us D box seats because there were D box seats, and I didn't even think about that. I might watch this again in D box because it's probably
Okay,
wild to watch this in
what
D
is
box.
Debox?
D box is like when the seats like they move and vibrate
Oh,
to like the different motions happening in the movie. I watched Superman in D box, and
mm-hmm.
the first movie I watched in D box, which was the perfect movie to do it because they added D box seats to the Cinemark in the city we live in. Um,
Was it Oppenheimer?
no, it was F1. So
Crazy work.
it was a racing movie, so it made sense and it worked, and it
Right.
made it feel like you were in a car with them, and it was cool. Um, so yeah, this in D box is probably really fun. But your popcorn
I
is
was gonna
probably
say
going to go all over the place. But my popcorn was already going all over the place. I dropped so much
I'm
popcorn.
saying.
It was crazy. I stood up and was like, "Oh, I feel bad. I'm sorry, people who work at that movie theater. I didn't mean
Right.
to. If you gave me a broom and dustpan, I would have cleaned it up."
And honestly, that's a lot more than most people can say.
But I tried
You
to
know
pick
what
up as
though?
much of it as I could out of the seat.
Yeah. In saying that, right, I'm going to go see the movie again with my stepdad sometime soon, probably next week. And I might try and convince him to get D-box seats just for the kicks and giggles,
Yeah,
but not tell him
Liter-
why.
literal kicks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But like Denji and Rezi's life, so sad, so sad.
Very sad.
These two children, these two 16-year-olds, they just they just
Right.
they just did not have good lives. The movie ends on a very bittersweet note with I
Mm-hmm.
think it's Rize. We keep saying Rezi. um
It definitely is Rize. Like they literally confirmed in
yes.
the movie, but I'm just so in the habit of saying Resi.
After being allowed to escape by Denji, she went back to meet him at the cafe that she worked at, and they spent a lot of time together at. Um but was intercepted by the angel devil and Denji manipulator number one, Makima,
Right.
who then proceeded to brutally kill her just like a few feet away from the cafe to prevent her from running away with Denji. And yeah, it's just their life sucked. Denji just grew up poor and in debt and was manipulated into basically slavery. um, while Rize was experimented on as a child and turned into a killing machine. Like, damn, they just can't catch a
This is
break.
tragic.
Very tragic. But yeah,
I think one thing that really not surprised me, but that I had forgotten about was they Denji and Rezi had a conversation about Makima and her reaction. I forgot that they knew about each other.
yeah, but
Because
yes,
it came off as a
since you mention it, I was just about to say, future spoilers. We're gonna now get into not just spoilers, but spoilers beyond spoilers. Spoilers that
right.
are like for the story beyond where the
Spoilers.
movie ended.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about stuff from the manga almost all the way up to where it is now. Not fully, because Ayer is not all the way collapsed, so I'm not gonna spoil stuff that's currently happening. But we're gonna spoil. We're gonna get into big spoilers, spoilers for the manga. But yeah, I didn't notice that either. Like watching it now, I've read the manga twice and I didn't even remember that.
Right.
And she talked about, I was like, oh, she knew. She knew
Yeah.
about Makima.
She's like, ah, you're under the control of that bitch. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. You're familiar? You're hip to her game?
Yeah. Makima sucks.
Makima sucks so bad. Oh my god. Like, I remembered just how badly I'm so used to Nayuta in part 2 that I lived in a joyous world where Makima did not exist. And so seeing her again, like doing her Makima stuff, like it was almost painful because I'm like, can we get back? Can we get back to your superior form, please? You suck so bad.
Yeah.
Are also a creep. Leave that 16-year-old boy alone.
Yeah. And I didn't realize, I said this in the theater, but like the Angel Devil's powers is very similar to the War Devil's, which is interesting. And I'm curious if that's something that's going to come back later or just a coincidence. Because that's very random that they both can
I
like
think it'll come back later.
make weapons out of people. It's very interesting.
Right.
But with the War Devil, it's not just people, but it's like objects that they feel ownership over. But the fact that they both make weapons out of things in general is interesting. But I did want to say, as good as this movie was, I'm still not a fan of the trend that Demon Slayer has started, okay? I'm not a fan of seasons of anime being turned into movies, and I'd prefer if this energy went into making a full season of television. But I get it. These movies make a lot more money than the shows do, which can then be used to make more anime. The problem is, Demon Slayer is now only going to be making movies till they finish it, which sucks.
Right.
I wish that instead they were like, okay, we made money with this movie. Now we make another season, then we make one more movie. No. They're like, no, we're just going to make 3 movies, and that's the end of the show. And I'm like, no, it's a show. Make it a show. Why are you turning the show into a movie? That's stupid. Hopefully Demon Slayer doesn't start doing that, and instead they do several seasons, then a movie, rather than movie. I would hate that. But I have a feeling they're not going to do that. I hope they're not going to do that.
I doubt it.
And that we actually get a full season next. And I'm curious. Do you think they could cover how many episodes was last season? Like 13, probably.
I believe so, something like that.
Because I'm trying to think whether or not they would be able to cover the entirety of the rest of the story before the like current arc in one more season.
I feel like if they rushed through some of like the more minor devils, they probably could. But I wouldn't want them to do that because like Chainsaw Man is unique in that way where it's like even the like monster of the week monsters are like important to the plot and like the main character's character development. You know what I'm saying?
Like I wouldn't be surprised if they do another season and then another movie. Like I wouldn't mind that. Yeah. Like I wish Demon Slayer did that. Like if they do season movie, that's a good tempo. I like that. That's fun, especially with the way Demon Slayer is doing it. The movie's not being very long because they're covering a shorter amount of content. I could see them doing a season and then a movie, and it being like the movie being less than an hour and 30 minutes. So like, yeah, that'd be interesting. Because I think The amount of content is just a little bit too much for one
Mhm.
more season if it's the same length as last season,
Right.
but maybe just enough for a season and movie. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or just
Because I
like
could totally see.
a long
I could
finale,
totally.
like not finale because it wouldn't be the end of the series, but like
Right.
an hour long episode like um Attack on Titan did.
Yeah. I could totally see like the Santa Claus arc being adapted into a movie, like really, really easily. Doubly so because they did so well with this arc. Although I will say I'm kind of scared that they'll cut if they do make the Santa Claus arc into a movie rather than doing it in a season. I'm scared they're gonna cut out like some of the like really minor characters that appear literally just to die. And I hope not, because one of my favorite characters is in that arc.
I don't think they're gonna
And
cut anything. I don't feel like they've cut anything so far.
yeah,
But also, I
the
think
fear lingers.
the Santa Claus arc would probably be in the next season. I was thinking more
Mm.
so the Gun Devil stuff would probably be at the very end.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. True. It's so long since I've read the manga. I need to like reread part one. Remember
Yeah,
my roots.
but it's a good movie.
Very good movie.
I'm excited for next season. Hopefully, you don't have to wait forever.
Yeah,
If I had to guess, it's definitely not gonna be next year. It's probably gonna be next.
definitely not.
At the
Definitely not.
earliest, it'll be 2027. But I'm even doubting that.
Right.
But hopefully 2027. So moving on to the comic book section. Bree, why don't you start us off with what you've been reading lately?
Or I haven't read any comics, but I started reading the summer Hakurou died,
Mm.
and I didn't think it would be as crazy as I thought it was because I was put onto this some years ago when it was just straight up just the manga, no anime or anything. But I never like sat down to actually like read like a synopsis or anything because I already had finished a comic that like made me very emotional, and I didn't want to read another one that would make me very emotional because I thought it was going to be like a tearjerker.
Mm.
I mean, it kind of is, but it's not. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I take so long to actually read this? So I've been like low key binging it.
Mm.
What's it about?
It's really good. I don't. How do I explain this without like spoiling? But essentially, this dude's friend, like they're high school friends, and his friend goes missing, and one day just shows up again, but like he's acting different, and he's like, "Are you sure you're the same guy I like? Was grew up being friends with?" And the dude's like, "Oh dang, I thought my disguise really worked." So essentially, it's like that.
You gotta explain more than that. What do you mean?
But like, do you care about spoilers?
No. It sounds like this is like core to the story.
I mean, yeah, that's basically like how it starts. Friend goes missing, friend shows up, but friend isn't acting the same as he used to. And it turns out friend is dead. But what is possessing his body, we don't know.
Mm.
So like Skinwalker story.
But there's also yaoi.
Yeah, basically. That's exactly it.
It's a yaoi where a kid dies and then his body is taken over by an eldritch horror.
Our Skinwalker. Yeah, basically, actually.
Okay.
Right on the head. Also, I'm still reading that manga about the girl who's like faking amnesia to like break up with her husband.
Mm.
I mean, divorce her husband. And it is low key still really good. I thought I'd hate it, but no. Listen to Instagram, y'all. They got some bangers out there.
Cool. What about you, Ayura?
Let's see. I picked Chainsaw Man back up again because of the movie. I'm starting again from the very beginning at like volume one, just because it's been a while since I've read through the main story. And every time Makima is, I guess, on page, it makes me want to throw up. I hate her so bad. So that's been interesting. I've also been rereading a manhwa I started a long time ago called Under the Oak Tree. That I didn't finish it, but I really want to now that it's over. So I've been reading that to kind of like catch up. The premise of that is like there's this girl who's like scorned by her family because she has a stutter and is like generally like not very desirable for marriage in air quotes, and so she gets sent off with this like lower class guy. He's not necessarily lower class in the way of like he's like a peasant, but he's not very rich, not very like known. He's like a lesser lord. And so she gets married off to him and sent off to his homeland. And then a war breaks out right after they're wed. And like it kind of drifts them apart because he gets sent off to the war. And when he comes back, he comes back a war hero. Like he really did a really good job, got all this land, all this stuff, and has like increased in status so much. And the girl is worried that he's not going to love her anymore because she thinks of herself as worthless because of her raising. And the whole story is just him being like, I love you so much, I would do anything for you. And her being like, but I'm not good enough for you and you deserve better. And it's very sappy. I eat it up like candy though. I fear. And their relationship is really cute because like there's the simp character in many a manhwa, but it's like he's a simp, but he's not like weird and pushy about it. Yeah, which is really refreshing to see. I like Rifton, he's great. So I've been reading that, and that's been just as good as I remember. It's been so long since I've even thought about it, so it's strange to come back to it, but I kind of missed it a lot. So that's been fun. And then what else have I been reading? Still, I picked Tomorrow and Tomorrow back up again after taking kind of a break from it, and I'm enjoying it a little bit more. It's been slow going though because I haven't really had the time to like sit and like read and comprehend like an actual book. But that's been nice. And
Tomorrow.
Yeah,
So good.
It is. It's starting to grow on me a lot more. I wasn't really feeling it at first, but then I really like. There was a chapter that really made everything click, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm seeing the story wrong, and that was really helpful, and it really aided my enjoyment. So I'm starting to like it a lot more. Yeah. I'm excited to finish it.
For those that don't know, Tomorrow is a novel about these two people that make a video game together. And there's some romantic chemistry. There's a lot of friendship. It's a really good book. It's a great book. I love it. It just pulled me in. I heard somebody talking about it on a podcast I was listening to, and then I looked it up, and it said that it was about video game design and like romance and friendship. And I was like, that sounds cool. And I read it, and I was like, oh, this book is awesome. This book was made for me. Yeah, definitely highly recommend it. But yeah,
that's all I
got. Okay, for me, in terms of manga, I still reading Kagurabachi. That's still going strong. So good. It's I can't wait till it gets animated eventually. It's awesome. What else? Also reading Chainsaw Man. I think I'm caught up. Maybe a new chapter came out. I haven't read that one yet. I'm caught up on Children X, which feels like it's getting close to an end, but I'm not sure. But it feels like it's close to wrapping up. One Punch Man. I didn't read the latest issues because the One Punch Man is so weird when it comes to updating. It will they will post several chapters, and you can only read the latest 3 chapters on Shonen Jump, and goddamn Murata will just post like 5, and I'm like, bruh, what's going on? So I'm gonna catch up on One Punch Man whenever I decide I'm gonna catch up on One Piece, because I'm gonna have to subscribe to read it. Which will probably be sometime soon. But in terms of comics, I went through my pile of physical comics I had. What was the last one I read? Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion, which is about Miles Morales from the main universe going to the Ultimate Universe, which Miles Morales originates from the Ultimate Universe and made his way to the main universe, and now it's happening vice versa, which is really fun. There's, what else did I read? Battle Beast issues, I think, was it 5 and 6, which I decided to stop collecting that physically, or not stop collecting it physically, but to start collecting it issue by issue. And instead, that might change because the Ultimate Universe is ending. So if this isn't a publicity stunt, that means I will literally have no more comics that I will be getting, because the Ultimate Comics were the comics that I was collecting all physically. And since it's ending, I'm kind of upset that I wasn't collecting all of them from the beginning, because that way I would have eventually just been able to stop. Because I wasn't collecting all of them because I ain't got money for that. But if I knew that it was going to end at issue 24 for all of these comics except for Wolverine, which is ending at 16, I would have just been collecting all of them from the beginning. I already regret having not collected X-Men because I love X-Men. It's probably my second favorite of the bunch. And for some reason I wasn't sure if I would like it, so I didn't get it physically. And now I'm way too far behind to start collecting it physically now. So it's like, damn, I wish I was collecting that physically from the beginning. So yeah, I might actually end up continuing to collect Battle Beast physically because I won't have anything else. And I'll probably just start throwing some other comics in there to replace those. In terms of, well, also found out that I was like 5 chapters behind on Daredevil because the Marvel app wasn't alerting me of new chapters. And I was like, damn, where's the new Daredevil chapter? So I looked it up and I was like, oh, I've missed several because they just haven't been letting me know that they're coming out. So yeah, I'm behind on Daredevil, but I'm catching up. And also read the latest Ultimate X-Men issue. But in terms of DC Comics, I finally read the current Batman run, which we talked about a couple episodes ago. Art by George Jimenez. We talked about how awesome his art is. I read it. His art is awesome. It's being written by Matt Fraction, who wrote an incredible Hawkeye run. So a lot of people are excited for this comic, and it's pretty good so far. First time I'm reading the mainline Batman comic in legitimately probably 10 years. Like,
oh wow,
I haven't read mainline Batman in a very long time. Absolute Batman number 11. I read Action Comics number 1090. Batman and Robin year 1 number 11. Absolute Flash number 7, Nightwing issues 125, 26, and 27, because I'm trying to catch up on Nightwing. Justice League Red number 2. I finally read DCKO, the first issue. I read Supergirl number 5, Mr. Terrific year 1 number 5, Superman number 30, not Green Lantern. It is Green Lantern. Green Lantern Dark number 6, not the main line, but an Elseworlds Green Lantern story that's really fun about a world where essentially it was like nuked by darkness. And this Elseworlds version of the Green Lantern is kind of like very sad and depressed because their world was destroyed and aren't really being a superhero. And this like little kid is trying to like give them back their willpower to get them to actually help save the world. Also read The Flash number 25, which is the end of Cy Spurrier's run on The Flash, which was pretty good. He did some real weird shit, but it was fun. And now it's ending. This was the very last issue of his run. And then Mark Waid, who is very famous for having arguably the best Flash run of all time, which I'm still in the middle of reading. I need to get back to eventually. Will be taking over for a bit before I think someone else does. I don't know who though. Green Arrow number 28, that's ending soon, unfortunately, because it got canceled. I don't know when. Probably 30 if I had to guess, but love this comic. Green Arrow is easily one of the best comics. It sucks that it's ending. Absolute Wonder Woman, which I'm excited to get to eventually. Number 12. So good. Finally read Immortal Legend Batman number 1, which is written by Kyle Higgins, who's the writer for Radiant Black, which is this kind of Power Rangers meets Invincible comic, but not nearly as violent, more so in terms of kind of tone and characterization. But he's writing this Power Rangers inspired Batman comic, drawn by Dan Mora, who's considered like, he's like DC's main artist. He draws so much that people are making jokes about this man being trapped in DC's basement. If you just look up Dan Mora's art, you'll probably recognize. You will probably have seen it somewhere before. He's everywhere. His art's incredible. He's real good, and he drew a lot of Power Rangers comics, so they got him on this book too. And last but certainly not least, Batman or Robin and Batman, Jason Todd number 3, which is the final issue of this little mini story about Jason Todd when he was Robin, and it was really good. But yeah, that's all I got from my pull list of comics. But yeah, you guys check out Dan Moore's art. It's good art.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Is it more with duos?
I actually
Or
followed him on Instagram because I saw his art.
Yeah. Any character that exists, the way he draws them is the best those characters ever look. Every single time.
Yeah.
His art's awesome. Yeah, moving on to a bit of news, just a tiny bit of news. So I talked to Ayera about this a bit after we recorded last, but I downloaded an app that I heard a lot about within the comic book community online, but I somehow avoided it until now. And it all happened because I saw a Twitter post about how easy it is to read 1,000 comic books and how when like in the long run that's not that much if you read comics semi regularly. And in the comments, a bunch of
Mhm.
people were posting screenshots from the same app and website that showed how many comics they've read. And I asked, I was like, where are you guys getting these numbers from? And they said League of Comic Geeks. And so I was like, okay, I did my research. I was like, okay, is this a scam? It wasn't. Um, I do that. I do that with every new app. I'm like, let me read the reviews. Let me check the Google store. But yeah, so I made an account. I downloaded that main account, and it has just been fun, like logging all my comics that I've read, and like just getting those numbers to pit towards the comics you've been reading. When I talked to you, I was at like 960. I'm now
Mm.
over 2,000. Um,
Oh yeah, because you added One
Whoa.
Piece and
yeah, I had One
Naruto,
Piece.
right?
I had One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, Chainsaw Man. Because at the time when I had talked to Ayera about it, I hadn't checked if they also had manga. I only did American comics. I was like, the moment I had some manga, that number's gonna goddamn skyrocket, and it did. So yeah, I added Naruto and One Piece and Bleach, and it went way up. um, and yeah, it's now I'm at over 2,000, with like 1,000 of them being specifically manga. And I definitely suggest making an account. You can also, it's basically, I said it, it's basically like Letterboxd, but for comics, whereas Letterboxd is
Mm.
for movies. But it's like a combination of Letterboxd and Reddit. So there's like a bunch of
Mm.
communities and like message threads and stuff like that that you can hop into. But also another really cool thing that it does is it helps you keep track of when comic books are releasing, and also
Ooh.
like details like variant covers. So like it's awesome. And I was like, how have I not had this app? This is crazy. Like you can add comics to it by just taking a picture of the or like scanning the cover with your camera, and it'll be like, oh, this is that comic and this very specific variant cover. And I did that for a few of my comics. And I was like, wow, that's cool. This app is really cool. Yeah, I'm at
And what's it called?
2,415. Uh League of Comic Geeks.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, check out the app or the website. It's pretty cool. And it's a great place to just log everything you're reading and keep up with things. And you guys were talking about how to keep up with comics. This is a good way. Um, you might just see somebody give a review or something. You go, oh, that sounds interesting, and check it out. Because yeah, you can leave reviews. I'm starting to leave reviews of comics that I read whenever I read them. Yeah, it's been fun. But yeah, moving on to the book club. The final two issues of Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, written by Tom King,
Yeah.
with pencils and inks by Billis Evely, colors by Matthias Lopez, letters by Clayton Cowles, cover by Evelyn Lopez, and edited by Brittany Hauser. Quick synopsis of issues 7 and 8. In issue number 7, it's the moment you've been waiting for, the capture of Krim. With the fugitive in custody, Supergirl must now deal with his allies, the ungodly brigands. To stop them once and for all, she must leave Ruthie behind with the man who killed her beloved father. Can she trust the young girl to let the villain of her story live long enough to stand trial? Or is this the tragic end of his story and ours? And in issue number 8, Krim's fate revealed. As Supergirl continues her battle against the brigands, Ruthie squares off against the most vile villain in hopes of avenging her father and completing their mission. Will justice be served on both accounts, or will our heroes fail? As usual, we're gonna start with art. But like what more is there really to say? Billikis and Matthias Lopez continue to kill it. And in these last two issues, we go from a sandy beach with turquoise water and blue skies to the vacuum of space. And this really cool looking like space pirate ship that I sent a picture of in the chat that the brigands have. That's a really fun design. And toward the end of issue 8, we go back to Ruthie's home planet and see its red sun setting overlooking the silhouettes of Kara and Ruthie, and then that's one of my favorite pages from that final issue. And in going back to issue 7, there's also a beautiful image of a battle worn Kara landing back on the planet that really stood out to me. That was just a gorgeous full page piece of art that was really good. But yeah, what do you guys think of the art in these 2 issues?
I thought that like the art this time around was really, really good, but I was way more impressed by the typesetting for some reason. Like I don't know what it was about these last 2 issues, but whoever was doing the letters for it locked in. Okay, the way
Clayton
that the
Cowles.
text played, yeah, the way the text played so nicely with like the paneling work and whatnot. It was just really good. There was one moment I didn't screenshot it, and I wish I would have, but it was when Ruthie was talking to Krem, and like his dialogue, like his very short, snippy dialogue, like kind of blended in with the white of the page, and I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know what frame you're talking about. That was also really
Mhm.
nice.
Yeah.
The one that I like was Krem begging,
Mm.
for obvious reasons. But
Yeah.
like, I don't know, to see him all just like wrinkly and
Decrepit.
how do I put this into
I said decrepit.
Yes, decrepit basically. Because he's like always drawn so majestically,
He was. He
despite being
really
such a
was.
horrible person.
They gave this
Like he
man
is so majestic looking, and I hate this man so much.
just beautiful. Everybody in this has beautiful eyes, including Cram.
Yes. Speaking of eyes, I did send a picture in the chat of like when she's about to strike down Kreb, and like you could see like the dead look in her eyes, like the unmoving, the numb face. Like I think that was perfectly illustrated because so much had happened that chapter.
Yeah,
Mm.
very very good chapter. But getting into the chapters themselves, and and some analysis for issue 7. Just a quick kind of deeper synopsis. Krim is captured, and Kara finally faces off against the brigands, which you would expect to be a cakewalk, and so does Ruthie as she narrates. But the brigands prepared for the battle accordingly, and brought cannonballs strong enough to push Supergirl back, and a small sliver of kryptonite, the irradiated remnants of Krypton, allowing them to restrain Supergirl. Meanwhile, on the planet, Ruthie talks to Comet and Krem as she attempts to hold back her thirst for revenge long enough to learn how to save Crypto. When Comet senses that Kara's in danger and hesitates to go in fear of Ruthie giving into that hatred, but is convinced by Ruthie to take off anyway. And in issue number 8, we pick up with Comet rocketing off to save Kara and smashing the kryptonite, but being injured in the process. Meanwhile, Ruthie prepares to kill Krem, but is convinced by him that it would be unsatisfying to kill a bound and unarmed man. So she unties him, places her sword between the both of them. Then they both race to the sword and battle to the death. What did you guys think of that moment right there? That fight between Krem and Ruthie.
It was beautiful. Like the fact that like Ruthie had acknowledged the fact that like I am small. I am much smaller than this grown ass man, and like he is like the fact that her travels with Supergirl had taught her so much to the point where it's like, yes, I am smaller than this man. Yes, I am only a girl. However, that is not what makes me weak, and I am not weak in that way. And like the way that like you can see the growth in her character with the way that she fights with him. It's this comic was so good.
Right? Like you can actually see the character development and how they change. Like she even changes how she talks a little bit. Like she curses a lot more, and like she's pretty agile when she fights. Like I was very nervous during that fight sequence because the panel where Supergirl's sitting on the beach and there's like blood on like the sword and everything. Like, don't tell me like she just lost some limbs or something. Like, please.
Oh yeah, that's the cover of issue 8.
Was very nervous.
Mm-hmm.
But like that whole fighting sequence was very nice. I'm like, she's really changed. She's grown.
Yeah,
And then the way she showed restraint and did not kill him. I thought at first when I first read it, I was like, "That's stupid. Why didn't she just kill him?" But then
Right?
the more and more I thought about it, the more and more I'm like, "Yeah, no, he deserved to be locked in the Phantom Zone for like 200 years and
exactly.
then killed."
um,
Yeah.
which there's, well, we'll get there. Before we get, talk about the very end, I want to talk about Comet. So Ruthie, of course, ultimately wins the fight and goes to kill Krim, but just can't go through with it. And as that happens, we get that image I mentioned of an injured Supergirl coming down from the sky. But I did mention that she's holding a dead man. Here is revealed that
Yeah,
Comet,
I
the
was
super horse, was a man that was turned into a horse. Classic comic book goofiness. And that he died saving Kara, and we never heard that man speak a word. So sad.
Right.
Such a beautiful man too.
right.
And
The thing is, I sent that first panel because I was like, she's really having a conversation with this horse, and it's like understanding her. Like, how is that possible? And as we go on, I'm like, oh, I see.
yeah, but they be talking to
It's
crypto
because he's
too.
a man.
Right.
But yeah, and in that moment, Kara almost gives in to her own hatred and kills Krim after admitting to Ruthie that Crypto was never in danger and that she actually went on this journey to teach Ruthie that killing is wrong. But Ruthie stops her and tells her that she learned her lesson and that Kara shouldn't give in to her anger either. And, as we were talking about, at the very end, we meet with an old Ruthie back on her home planet where she reunites with Supergirl, who releases Krim from his 200-year imprisonment in the Phantom Zone. And Ruthie also, very old. Whether or not it's been 200 years for her as well, I don't know. Time works differently in space. Supergirl, we of course know, would be able to live that long and still look like she's 25. But we don't really know what the lifespan of Ruthie's people are. So maybe both her and Krim were actually alive for 200 years.
That would be
Right.
crazy.
But yeah, we also discovered that the narration we were hearing throughout the entirety of the book was from Ruthie's book that she wrote about her journey with Supergirl, except that she lies and claims that Supergirl killed Krim at the end. Which it does look like Krim dies at the end, but I don't think he did because that would go against the entirety of the moral
Yeah, I
message of
had
the
to
story.
look it up.
It's very clear that he's not dead, but it does look like he died, and it's really funny. I like though at the end it's like, okay, he went through imprisonment. He went through the system that you would hope it would exist in real life, but doesn't. At least not the way it should.
Right.
And he suffered for his sins, and she didn't forgive him. She slapped that man in the face with her cane and walked away. And now
I'm
he's
so glad she didn't
he's
forgive
just
him.
gonna live the last few probably short days he has left
Right.
on his home planet. But yeah, what did you guys think of this final issue specifically?
I really like that it came full circle in the way of this is a story being told to us, and the implications that this is a published story. I think were really really fun, within the universe as well as being published to us was really really fun. I like when stories tie in kind of the meta implications of its existence into its actual narrative. I think that's really really cool, and I'm glad that Ruthie did not die like I was suspecting. She was just really old. I'm glad. Because listen, it was getting bleak. It was getting bleak for a second. I was like, I don't know. I don't know about this.
But I also think it ended pretty well. Like, in a way, we were all Ruthie.
Hmm.
We were journeying through Ruthie.
For
Because
sure.
the way how she was very adamant about wanting to kill Krim, and how I was also very adamant about wanting to kill Krim, and I'm just like, please just stab him on that tree. And then she set him free so they could fight. And I was like, oh my god, she's gonna die or she's gonna be gravely injured in some way. But she fought back and everything, and then Supergirl comes and lands and wants to kill Krim for killing Comet. Well, he didn't kill Comet, but
The comet died because of
but
him.
wants to take yeah, basically. She wanted to seek revenge, and I thought it was actually gonna happen. And Ruthie's like, please don't do it. I've learned, it may not seem like it, and I thought I could do it, but I actually genuinely learned. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. Don't kill that man. I was so adamant, like, she should have struck that man down on the beach. But I was like, is that enough? Because that'd be too quick. Like, he didn't suffer for anything. He's just sitting there like, yeah, I have no regrets and blah blah blah. I'm like, I want him to regret it. How would they make
Right.
that happen?
Yeah, and
And
then
then
in
they
the
sent him
end,
to the Phantom Zone.
he
I'm like,
regretted
that
it.
is a justified way. I thought they did kill him at the end though. I was like, dang, all that just for her to like walk him over the head and he dies. Just, oh, please forgive me. Just no, murders and walks away. I was like, oh, and she just let that happen.
Yeah.
I mean, she
So I
won't
had to
kill.
like go and double
She
check. I
won't
was
kill
like, is it
people, but she
Deadpool
won't stop
or?
people. We
Yeah, so
established
that's what
that.
I really like about her too. Like that's what made me like. She's like one of my favorites now. Like after that, she just walked away, didn't hold her back, didn't say anything. I was like, yeah, she knows what's up.
Mm-hmm.
See, maybe you should
My kind of hero.
start reading the current Supergirl comic that's out right now.
Should I? What is that one called?
Supergirl,
Just Supergirl. Okay,
just Supergirl.
I'll look into it.
But yeah, what are your thoughts overall? Just this book as a whole, you know. I should start.
really
I've read
enjoyed
this
it.
book around when it came out, but like I'm reading it issue by issue, so it has all of the ads. I mentioned that before. It also has the ads for various different comics that were coming out around the same time. So I'm reading it and looking at all these ads, like, damn, this was a while ago. I remember when these comics that they're talking about in this book came out, and I read those, and I'm like, this was years ago. This was like early pandemic. Like, this was crazy. This is a very long. It's 2025, guys. The pandemic was 5 fucking years ago. It started 5 years ago.
Whoa.
It was March of 2020.
Oh yeah, because
That is
lockdown
crazy.
started happening on my birthday.
Like,
Damn.
Man, time is slipping away from
I'm
me.
turning 25 in like 2 weeks.
Oh shit.
Time is flying, okay? The thing is, being born in the year 2000, every year that passed, you know that you're getting a year older. You're like, oh, it's 2027. Oh no, I'm almost 30. Like, that's what it's gonna be like.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, wild word. But yeah, this book is awesome. I remember reading it, loving it, and rereading it again.
Recommend this to other people.
Yeah, it's just reaffirming my love for this book. And this book is really
Actually,
the
I
book
want a
that
solid copy.
made me love Supergirl. If you're gonna get definitely the hardcover. I don't know if you've seen, like, I'll just take a screenshot of it right now, actually, because the image I use for the podcast is of like the hardcover, which is black with Supergirl standing there, and it's really cool. And I was thinking of getting the hardcover a while back, but I decided not to. But if you want to get that, definitely got that. It's dope.
I will. I definitely will.
Speaking of comics and advertisements, in I think I want to say chapter 8, it might have been chapter 7, there was an ad for a Wonder Woman comic that kind of piqued my interest. So I might read that on my own time.
Was it? Yeah, that's I could not suggest reading Nubia more. Nubia is awesome. Nubia was quite literally DC's first the first black woman superhero, period.
Oh shit.
Initially, she was basically just Black Wonder Woman, and she quite literally was Wonder Woman at one point. But she's a character that kind of like was just lost to time for a very long time. But a few years back, they like did a really big push with her that unfortunately slowed down to the point to where she was in Multiverses, the WB fighting game that had like Looney Tunes and DC characters and like a bunch of different, WB property characters in it. She was in that game as a fighter. She wasn't just like a skin for Wonder Woman who was in that game also. She was her own separate character. That's how hard they were pushing her back then. And this was like, that ad was from like the beginning of that.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I'll throw some of those comics in like the folder I made for you in our DC Universe account. Because there are several comics. There's like, was it Nubia and the Amazons, Nubia Queen of the Amazons. I guess that title is a bit of a spoiler, but and there was like the one that you saw was Amazon's Attack. So like, yeah, I'll definitely send those. Those comics are cool. Nubia's great, but yeah, great comic. But to wrap things up, we got to talk about the writer. I've talked to you about this writer before, Ira. I was specifically saving this for the very end. We got to talk about Tom King, the writer behind this story, and the controversy surrounding him. I'm sorry, Bree. There's controversy.
Controversy.
For me, it all started with Wonder Woman by Tom King. Either last year or the year before that, Tom King began writing. He became the main writer on the main Wonder Woman comic. And I really enjoyed his run when I first started reading it. And it was getting a lot of hate, and I didn't understand why, because I was liking it a lot. But then I read this essay by Robert Jones Jr. on Substack titled "Who's Afraid of Wonder Woman?" And I discovered this because he reposted it on Reddit. And I was in the Wonder Woman subreddit, kind of trying to figure out, like, why don't people like this book? And after reading it, it's a very long read if you decide to check it out. I began to understand and notice the problems when I went back to continue reading Tom King's Wonder Woman after reading that essay. And eventually, after I finished up his first arc on Wonder Woman, I dropped it completely as a result. So I'm going to sum up my findings, which I chronicled in an essay that I posted in the Wonder Woman subreddit, because yes, I'm a Redditor. So the first kind of like bullet point in that was that Tom King does not know how to write sororal relationships. To quote Robert, when King writes Wonder Woman's relationships with other women, whether these women are Wonder Woman's friends or her foes, there's always an air of competition or there's outright hostility. But there's never any regular ass homegirlness. This guy's black, if you couldn't tell. None at all. Almost every interaction Wonder Woman has with another woman is confrontational in this book. Again, I'm not gonna go deep into it. I've read literally an essay about it. And I talked about it in previous episodes. So again, I'm just gonna give pretty much bullet points. The next one is Tom King's brand of patriotism doesn't belong in a Wonder Woman book. Essentially, Tom King was trying to make Wonder Woman DC's Captain America, but that's just not who she is, or at least not anymore. Like a lot of iconic and older superheroes, Wonder Woman was created during World War II. So she did start off very patriotic. She literally wears red, white, and blue. But she hasn't been that for a very long time and should not return to that. And he has been trying real hard to return her to that. I talked about it before. The crossover they decided to do in the DC Marvel crossover wasn't Wonder Woman and Storm like everybody wanted. It was Wonder Woman and Captain America. Granted, that's also a good story, and it was a good story, but it's them continuing to push that agenda of trying to make her DC's Wonder Woman, which nobody wants that. Or the people who want that are not the type of people you want to be friends with.
Want to appeal to, yeah.
And lastly, King introduced the daughter of Wonder Woman, Trinity, and nobody likes her. Not because people are mad at the idea of Wonder Woman having a child. Literally, Batman and Superman both have children. It makes sense that eventually Wonder Woman would probably have a child in the comics. But everything surrounding this kid is weird. I'm one of the people who is not a fan of her. Not because I don't think that Wonder Woman should have a kid, but because the conception was strange. Trinity was basically made to fill the Steve Trevor sized hole in Diana's heart after he died in this run. Roberts once again puts it best. It's as though Wonder Woman is saying to her, "You're only here because your father wanted you here. I only love you because I loved your father. You were created to ease the pain of my missing him. You're only here so that when I look at your face, I see his face. This is a terrible reason to have a baby, an awful burden to place upon a child, and an enormously irresponsible thing for a parent to do." That was Robert's word, the person who wrote that essay that I read that changed my opinion. And yeah, essentially it's a book that feels like it is very purposefully trying to, for lack of a better term, brainwash people into being like more patriotic. There's a bunch of subtle and not so subtle sexism throughout the entire book that it's not even that I wasn't noticing, it's just that I was looking at it going like, it wasn't like it was subtle. It wasn't like super big and overt. And I was like, okay, weird writing, but not necessarily sexist. But then as I continued reading, I was like, oh no, it just got more and more overt as I kept reading. And especially now that my eyes were open, now that I was woke, I started noticing it more and more. And I was like, oh, this book is weird. And this kind of like I said, subtle brainwashing could come from the fact that, and this is the big thing, and the reason why so many people actively hate Tom King used to work for the CIA. Specifically
Ooh.
during the War on Terror, and therefore was likely complicit in some heinous acts committed by the US government in the Middle East. And he has been getting a lot of well-deserved hate for it. Now, I've said this before.
This is crazy.
Yeah, this deep lore. Personally, I'm not a fan of retroactively deciding a piece of art is bad just because the person who made it is a bad person. I'm all for deciding to stop supporting certain people's work because you dislike them as a person and encouraging other people to do the same thing for that reason. I do it all the time. But I don't like pretending that a person's art of which you may have previously liked is all of a sudden bad because they're bad. Now, sometimes, like, kind of this situation, after you discover a person is bad and the rose tinted glasses are removed, you can see the hints of that in a person's work. And that may well be the case for some of Tom King's work. But it hasn't necessarily been that way for me outside of Wonder Woman. I've read some of his other comics and enjoyed them a lot. And look back on them, and they're not really like crazy in the way that Wonder Woman is. I don't like attaching morality to talent because it then applies that untalented people are inherently bad and that talented people are good, which we know is not the case. The best example, because it's as close to an objective example as we can get, is R. Kelly. He's a piece of shit, and I don't listen to his music because of that. But you can't deny that he can sing his ass off. But his talent doesn't change the fact that he's a horrible person.
Person, yeah.
But also being untalented doesn't make you a bad person. But yeah, I felt like it would be remiss of me not to mention this. But I wanted to save it till the very end. Also, King has seemingly become James Gunn's point guy when it comes to having comic creatives help bridge the gap between comics, film, and animation, much to the chagrin of many comic book fans. And like I said, understandably so. And, I want to make it clear, I'm not defending King, if you got that impression based off of what I just said. That's not the case at all. I get the hate and agree with a lot of it. This man is partly responsible for what we think he is. He's a horrible person. And I have no respect for him. So, like, do with that information what you will. I am but a messenger. Do your own research, by the way, as well. Like, don't just take my word for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Supergirl War of Tomorrow. Despite it all, good book. I say all that to say he's horrible. This book's still good. It's a good book. I like this book. And next on the docket is Absolute Batman. Which
So excited.
the current arc that they're on is about to wrap up soon too. So like, yeah, this is gonna be awesome. Because I guarantee you, after we read those first 6 issues, you guys are gonna continue reading it and get caught up, and it's gonna be great. So moving on to TV and film. Like I said last episode, Christian unfortunately broke his arm. So he'll be out for a while. So TV and film section will be me, Ayera, and Bree. Sometimes just one of the two, or a guest, as Christian recovers. So bear with us in this trying times, I've been checking in with him. He's doing good. His arm's healing.
That's good.
He's doing better. But yeah, moving on to TV and film. This is the Halloween episode. We're recording this October 30th, so the day before Halloween. And this will be going up November 3rd, the Monday after. So this is our Halloween episode. And I've been watching horror movies all month, but I specifically watched 3 more this week for this episode. Have you guys watched any horror movies over the month?
I have not had time.
Fair.
I've watched like 1 or 2.
That's fair. I don't usually do this, but I'm going to kick things off. So I'll go into more detail with these later, but I watched this week specifically The Substance, Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter, which is a crazy name, and Night of the Living Dead, but I'll talk about those later. What have you guys been watching?
Horror movie wise, I watched Saint Maud. I really, really like that movie a lot. It tickled my brain a lot. I really, really like that movie. The premise is like this lady is this like super religious, like she had a come to Jesus moment, and she's now caring for this like ailing, dying woman, and also trying to force her religion onto her, while also actively going through religious psychosis. It's really interesting. I can't recommend it enough. Saint Maud, I watched. What else? There was one more like horror movie. Oh, The Woman in Black. I watched that also, and that was really interesting. Although I didn't enjoy it as much as Saint Maud. It's very well made. It's a good looking movie, but the plot left a lot to be desired. And then outside of horror, my girlfriend has been torturing me with the Fast and Furious movies. So far, we've watched Tokyo Drift
Sounds
and
scary
Furious
to me.
7.
No, I'm joking.
I was gonna say scariest shit I've ever seen in my life. Tokyo Drift was bad, but I have come to appreciate it more after watching Furious 7, which is, I think, and I can say this with like at least 80% confidence, is the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my goodness.
And I've seen a lot of bad movies. I love like B movies and like 2B movies and stuff like that, but I truly do believe that Furious 7 is one of the worst movies I've ever watched.
Look, man.
What don't you like about
Fast 5
What
is lit, though. I love Fast 5.
It's like my only issue with it is that it makes no sense. Like the plot line is so incoherent, and I know that's not what you're in those movies for. I know that it's about the action and the racing, but like we didn't even get that. It was an espionage film.
Those movies used to be
There
about
were 3 races total.
They used to be about street racing and stealing DVD players. Now they're about espionage and world-ending threats.
Family.
family?
And I think the thing that really like turned me off of the movie was like I was kind of like, shit talking it the whole time, and I was like, you know what? Why is it called Furious 7? And my girlfriend was like, oh, because it's not all about being fast, and I was like, and then not even
crazy.
10 minutes later, Dom Toretto was like, it's not all about being fast this time, and I'm like, there's no way. There's no way this movie is serious right now.
You gotta just enjoy those movies for what they are. They're goofy as hell.
I know. It's very silly. Tokyo Drift is actually not, like, the more I think about it and the more I compare it to Furious 7, Tokyo Drift was not that bad.
Look,
it was
man,
silly.
That song is lit. Okay, Tokyo Drift.
It is lit.
It's such a good song.
So as for films, what I've been watching is I watched the Superman movie recently because I had started watching the second season of Peacemaker. And the first episode, they were making callbacks to the movies. So I was like, oh, frick. Am I supposed to, like, watch the movies? Like, get these references?
Yo, you would have got so spoiled.
Yeah.
You would have got so spoiled.
I was like, let me stop on the first episode and just watch the movie. And I'm glad I did, because things make a lot more sense.
I'm looking glad that show does that to people. It's forcing people to watch Superman.
Yeah, because they was like, oh, yeah, the Luther incident. I was like, the Luther incident?
You were about to get that whole movie spoiled for you. in like a 1-minute recap that was retconning the first season, the end of the first season.
Yeah, because I was like, how are they like making this connection? And then I see Peacemaker in the movie. I was like, oh, okay, I see. But yeah, I watched that. I thoroughly liked that. I had my gripes about it, but like, I'm pretty sure they did it on purpose. Like, this Luther seemed very like, I don't know exactly how to describe his personality, but it was like very much like Nepo baby. Oh, I'm cool, you're not. Oh, I'm like the hot shot around here guy. Like, they did a very good job portraying that, because it pissed me off so much. Also, there was like a bunch of like pointless action in it. Like the I forget her name, but she had like the nano machines or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a part where like they were like in And Batman. Whoa.
They were in
Superman's
Batman's
where?
Fortress of Solitude.
But they were in the Fortress
The
of
super
Solitude, and the
cave.
robots came to like attack her, and then she like did this weird like flip where she flipped on her hand and then like switched upwards with the nanomachines. I was like, why did you just do that? Just turn around.
Or farming, baby. You got to do it.
I don't know. That didn't seem very aura farming to me. It reminded me of a video I saw on Instagram about like the pointless backflips that Spider-Man do. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's absolutely hilarious. But so I watched that, and then the Peacemaker. I forget what episode I left off on. I think episode 4.
Okay. If you're
And
probably,
then
I assume you'll probably be done by next episode in like 2 weeks because good. We can have a whole spoiler discussion about Peacemaker season 2 once you finish it. Because I've been waiting for you to finish
yeah,
Peacemaker ever since I found out you were watching it. Because like good, we
I'm
can have
sorry.
a.
I'll pick up the pace.
No, you don't
Matter
gotta
of
pick up
fact,
the
I'll
pace.
watch
I'm
it
sure
tonight.
you'll finish it because that's 2 weeks from now. There's plenty of time.
Yeah, but like we've been like low key binging it. But then I started watching Splinter Cell a few days ago.
Yes.
The
Oh my god!
Netflix
See, look, now I
animated.
got to get you back in the animation section so you can talk about that too.
Like I'm lost with it, and like I have my gripes about the animation. Like I don't know, they don't close their mouths when they talk. They just got their lips sticking out, and like they don't make any like lip movements. It's just yeah 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 like up and down. But other than that, I think it's getting pretty good. I forget what episode we left off on, but it's getting pretty good.
those first 2 episodes are so damn good. Like just those
The
first
thing
2 episodes
is,
alone are
right,
insanely good.
they are because like they make you think someone's about to be a main character. The way that they portray like the fight scenes, like they kept showing certain shots of like people's eyes and whatnot. Like, oh, this person's gonna get injured. They're gonna come back later, and that doesn't happen. I'm like, what? Or this person died, or this person lives. I'm like, what? What's going on here? Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. It's really good.
Yeah, I really like that
And
show.
then let me see, what else did I watch? Oh, I feel like I'm blanking out here. Blanking out. TV. I started watching Hunting Wives with Angel. We are on episode 4 or 5, and then she put me on to another show where it kind of has like the same premise but different in a way.
Hmm.
They're like this one's set in like an older time rather than recent time, and that isn't in Texas. But it also involves like someone being murdered, so it's like a murder thriller kind of thing.
Mm.
I think it's called Love and Death. That's what it's called. Yeah. So I've been watching those two. And then last night I started watching it's like a mafia. It's called the not mafia. They're like Irish, I think. Or they're in Britain. Oh, Peaky
Oh, Peaky
Blinders. That's what it
Blinders.
is.
Yeah.
I started watching that. Yeah, I started watching Peaky Blinders like last night.
Yeah.
'Cause I wanted to put something on.
Cillian Murphy.
So yeah, I got a pretty good lineup going on. I've been watching a lot more like TVS stuff rather than like cartoons and animations, but I'm trying to balance it so I can have more to talk about.
Yeah, I already said what I was watching. So moving on to a single trailer, not even trailers, a single bit of news that I have. I don't even think I sent any trailers. Actually, I'm about to send a new one right now because I was watching it when Bree joined the call, and I was like, and I had muted myself. I was like, hold on, let me watch this trailer. We're not watching now. We'll talk about it next episode. Actually, I take that back. Watch it.
Okay.
Because I'm realizing that it's a very topical trailer because it's a trailer for Scream 7. and this is the Halloween episode.
Well,
It is a bit of a long trailer, but still watch it. Because I was watching, I was like, damn, this trailer long as hell.
2 minutes long.
But yeah, we got a trailer for Scream 7, like just before we started recording this podcast. It's releasing February 27th, next year in 2026. And the trailer looks good. I love Scream. I don't know if I've talked to Ira about this because I've reviewed Scream 6.
Mhm.
And before Scream 6, I did a movie marathon of watching all of the first 5 beforehand with some friends. So Ira knows how much I love Scream. I love Scream. Slashes are my favorite type of horror movies, and Scream does it like no other. easily the best slashers. Um, and they're very consistently good. There is no such thing as a bad Scream movie. Um, Scream 6 became my second favorite very quickly. It is really good. Radio Silence, the duo of directors, um, they just directed Scream 5 as well, and with Scream 6 they took it in a new direction while still keeping with the formula and not completely changing it, but like doing a bunch of new stuff that just made it really fun, and it was really really good. Ghostface is kind of a very goofy killer. He stumbles a lot. He's very what do you call it? Uh, what do you call a person that stumbles a lot? What's that called? Clumsy. And because of that, Ghostface is very comedic. Because it's always just, it's not like a trained killer. It's a regular person. And in Scream 6, they made Ghostface a lot scarier. And unlike most slashers where you know who the villain is, in Scream you don't know who the killer is, so it's also a murder mystery. It's really fun. Definitely check out the Scream movies; they're really good, but not this one. Do not watch Scream 7.
Oh,
We're boycotting this movie because Spyglass, the people who own the rights to Scream and produced all the movies, they fired the actress who plays a character named Samantha Carpenter, who's in Scream 5 and 6, played by Melissa Barrera. She was fired because she made an Instagram story post in support of Palestine and wanting a ceasefire years and years ago, around the time that Scream 6 came out. So she was, or after Scream 6 came out and they were talking about the Scream 7, and she was fired. And then Jenna Ortega, who's also in Scream 5 and 6, left the production out of solidarity. And yeah, things just fell apart from there. And I'm not watching this movie, despite the fact that it's one of my favorite movie franchises of all time. And I don't feel comfortable watching this movie. Everybody, picks and chooses where they decide to boycott. This is one of mine. I can't watch this movie. As good as it is, and I hope it's good. I don't want it to be bad. Like one day I hope that I can watch it and that I can sit down and enjoy it. For the love of everything, I hope I don't get spoiled because I want to watch it eventually.
Right.
I don't want to know who the killer is. But there's a chance that the killer is a killer from the first movie. Which I don't even want to say that because I don't know if have you guys seen Scream?
I was going to mention that I have not seen it. I've only ever watched the parody.
Okay, then I'm definitely not going to say what killer I think it could be. You should watch Scream. You should watch it. It's funny because Scream is a parody. Scream is a parody of slashers, and then Scary Movie is a parody of a parody. The Scream was originally actually going to be called Scary Movie, and that's why Scary Movie is called Scary Movie.
Okay.
I watched Scream, but I really just could not get into it for some reason. I might give it another shot, though.
It's so good. That first one is so good. Matthew Lillard, Shaggy, is in that movie, and he's so good in that movie. He's so funny. God, Scream '96 is still my favorite one of the 6 movies, now 7. It's so good. I pray that something happens within now and February that's like, hey, Melissa Barrera is okay and they're not Zionists. Go watch the movie. That's not going to happen. But like, I pray.
Yeah.
Can only hope.
Because it sucks that I got to skip out of this movie.
We should watch some of these movies together.
Look, if y'all want to have a Scream marathon.
Yeah, movie club.
If y'all want to have a Scream marathon, trust me, I'm always down to watch Scream again.
Maybe, actually. I probably enjoy watching it. Because I used to watch scary movies a lot, but like I haven't been recently. Because nothing has really like piqued my interest at all.
Yeah. We'll have to do
but then again, I might watch Sinners, and then I may watch Weapons since it's on.
You haven't seen Sinners?
Right now.
I haven't either. I feel so seen.
Weren't they playing Sinners at work earlier today?
No, then that must have been before I came in the office. Then
they were playing. They were playing Sinners. Because I heard one of the songs from the movie playing very loudly in the production room.
The only reason I haven't watched it yet is because I am a coward and scary movies and me don't mesh well. But I know it's not that scary from what people told me.
Also, the first half of the movie isn't even a horror movie. It's just a period piece.
Fair. All right. I'll stop putting it off. I'll watch it.
Look, we can watch it together.
Yes, actually, I would like to.
Me
I just need
too.
to watch it with someone
Hmm.
Yeah.
because then I'll focus.
But in terms of news, we have the hunt for Ben Solo. We got some new details, but you guys haven't even heard the first details. So the hunt for Ben Solo was a Star Wars project in development by Kylo Ren and Ben Solo actor Adam Driver and Ocean Eleven's director Steven Soderbergh. It was in development for 2 years. They had a full script, and the heads of Star Wars, Kathleen Kennedy and Dave Filoni, were completely on board. But the heads of Disney simply said, um, let's see, you guys don't care about spoilers for the last three Star Wars movies, do you?
No.
Okay, good. Do you, Edgar? I'm assuming not.
No.
So they
I'm-
said that they couldn't understand why Kylo Ren was still alive because he dies in the third one. He dies in Rise of Skywalker. And we got some new information from Rodrigo Perez at the playlist.net. It was revealed that Rebecca Blunt was the screenwriter, that Scott Z. Burns was paid more than any other screenwriter in Lucasfilm history to complete the script, that Kathleen Kennedy, Dave Filoni, and Carrie Beck were directly involved throughout the development. These are big high ups. You know, Kathleen Kennedy is the head of Star Wars, and Dave Filoni is high up there as well, and it's like essentially been like the Kevin Feige, who is like the head of Marvel, who's been, directing like all of those stories. He's that for Star Wars. They were, involved throughout development. And the film had a final script and a budget and was ready to start filming before they presented it to Bob Iger, and he rejected it because he was like, how could Kylo Ren be alive? They had Adam Driver, an incredible actor who loved playing Kylo Ren despite the fact that those movies were so divisive, and was more than happy to come back. And Steven Soderbergh, the man behind the Ocean series, on board. And they still shot it down because Bob Iger couldn't imagine how Kylo was alive. This is the same movie franchise that revealed that the main villain of the first three original movies from the 70s and 80s, Palpatine, was alive in the third movie by simply having Oscar Isaac's character, Poe Dameron, say, somehow Palpatine returned. And that was their only explanation as to how this nigga was still alive. And they can't imagine how Kylo Ren is alive. Mind you, Kylo Ren simply disappeared into the Force and faded away like he was goddamn Obi-Wan Kenobi. So there are a great number of magical ways and excuses you could have come up with. Even if this man got his head cut off, they could have found a way to have this man still be alive. Okay? Goddamn, Darth Maul got cut in half, and they found a way to have that man still be alive for a very long time. So, like, they could have figured this shit out. The fact that you have these incredible creatives that actively want to tell the story and they go, I don't understand how that makes sense, and it just gets shot down is like, literally everybody who works at Star Wars wanted to make this. And just the head of the company said no. For no reason. For no good reason other than he's confused. It's not for you, Bob. It's for us. I'm so mad. Star Wars Visions is up. I'll talk more about that in the animation section next week. Not a lot of advertising for it leading up to it, if I'm being honest. But I'm hearing good things. This season is very anime focused. If you don't know, Bree, Star Wars Visions is an animated anthology series of Star Wars shows where they just get a bunch of animation studios across the planet to just tell their own Star Wars stories. They don't have to be connected to canon. It's whatever. They can do whatever they want, and a lot of awesome stories have come from this. And the first season was heavy anime studio focused, with a bit of Western studios mixed in. The second one, they did more Western studios because they focused so heavily with anime studios in the first. This year's Star Wars Celebration was in Japan, so they decided to also have this season of Star Wars Visions be very anime focused, exclusively anime focused, as opposed to the first two seasons. And some of those episodes are like sequel episodes from the first season that people really liked. Like some of the best episodes came from the first season, and they're making sequels to that. And one of them is even getting a spin-off show. It's awesome. And I'm really excited to watch this season, more so than the last. The last was good, but like a lot of them just didn't speak to me as much as episodes from the first season. And the fact that this third season is getting sequels to some of those episodes, and just other episodes from some of the same studios and new anime studios, it's going to be good. I definitely suggest checking it out. You don't need to know anything. Like I said, it's animated anthology, and they're all original stories set within the Star Wars universe, but disconnected from anything in canon. So you can just watch them and You can watch any episode randomly, just whichever one looks interesting to you, and you'll have a good time. Even the sequel episodes, you can probably watch those and not even have to watch first episode um, to really understand them. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm excited for that. But that's animation shit. We're not here to talk about that. Moving on to some quick reviews for the horror movies I watched. Started with The Substance. No, actually, I'm gonna start with Friday the 13th because that's the shortest one. I watched Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter. Again, insane name, and it was good. Like I talked about with Scream, slashes are my favorite kind of horror movies, and I really enjoyed the first 3 Fridays, especially the third one, and this one may be the best so far. So this originally was meant to be the last Friday the 13th movie, hence the name, the final chapter. It didn't used to be called Part 4. It was just called the final chapter. But as we all know, they ended up making 11 of these movies. Um, and the only reason we don't have more is because the rights are being battled between, the creators of Friday the 13th. So the game got canceled and we haven't had a movie in a long time and it sucks.
Mm.
But yeah, it was your classic slasher. A bunch of horny teenagers go to Camp Crystal Lake for summer break
Mm-hmm.
and end up getting killed. But this time, a family of 3 that live near the lake get caught up in the mix. It's a good time. I definitely suggest checking out Friday the 13th movies. They're really fun. Just some old school 80s slashers. Next, we have The Substance. Finally watched it, and it was great. This is one of those movies that kind of just went over my head, despite how good I was hearing it was. I just didn't watch it, despite the fact that it was very much up my alley, and I just kept hearing how great it was all the time. But it went in one ear and out the other, and yeah, I don't know what was happening at the time to make me just ignore this movie like that. But finally watched it. It's about fading actress Elizabeth Sparkle, played by Demi Moore, who becomes distressed when her chauvinistic boss fires her from her aerobics show. She then injects herself with a mysterious serum that promises a younger, better version of herself, but things go horribly wrong. It was an incredible body horror film about the horrors of beauty standards for women, especially in Hollywood. Um, and it's also kind of goofy in a lot of ways as well. It's very fun movies, good time. Uh, the upcoming Clayface movie, which by the way, if you didn't know, they're making a Clayface movie. Yes, the Batman villain, um, which is reportedly close to wrapping up filming. Uh, has a very similar premise. Since decades before The Substance came out last year in 2024, the episodes Feet of Clay Parts 1 and 2 of Batman the Animated Series released in like 91, 92, which tells the story of aging actor Matt Hagen, who also uses the substance to appear younger. So there are a lot of similarities between Clayface and the Substance story. Um, but there are some key differences to Clayface's story that will make it stand out from this film, but it will have its similarities, and I'm sure there will be so many people relentlessly pointing it out like assholes. But I'm excited for Clayface movie, and Substance was really good. And if Clayface, manages to hit on some of those notes in a similar fashion, that'd be really fun. Like the movie's there. Might as well take inspiration from it. But last but certainly not least, for me in terms of horror movies I watch, Night of the Living Dead, the OG, very first ever zombie movie from 1968. Um, Zombies, of course, originated in Haitian myth long before this movie, but the late great the late great George Romero came up with this idea on his own with no clue of their previous existence, and he called them ghouls in this movie. Um, Night of the Living Dead was an indie film, uh, made with a budget of 100,000, but they did an incredible job with the resources that they had. Honestly, the movie is entirely in black and white, despite the fact that in 1968, TV shows and movies were in color. They did it because of their limited budget, and that was the type of film they had. Um, but also, they wanted to elicit the feeling of news broadcast, which at the time were still recorded in black and white, despite the fact that movies and TV shows were in color. And
Mm.
what surprised me the most about the movie was the racial commentary.
Mm,
One of the lead
fascinating.
actors is a black man named Ben, played by Dwayne Jones, who butts heads with a white man in the film who's clearly having an inferiority complex about taking orders from a black man. But
Mhm.
that commentary was not Romero's intention. Ben was written as a white man, but Jones gave a great audition and got the role. But nothing about the character was changed because of that. The only thing that changed was people's perception because the character was black. Gave some implications with the him butting heads with the white guy. Um, and it goes in a very interesting direction that again wasn't intentional but ended up being like very poignant, especially for that period of time. So like yes, real good movie. Overall, like I said, great film. And I'll probably check out the sequel, Dawn of the Dead, um, over the course of this Day of the Dead weekend on November 1st and
Mm.
2nd, and talk about that next episode. But yeah, the OG zombie movie is real good. Back in the day, one of the like trailers for I think either Black Ops 1 or 2 Zombies had George Romero in it, which was really fun. Either you see The Substance?
I've not. Body
No.
horror wigs me out, but I've heard good things.
Yeah, good movie. Body horror freaks you out, but does it freak you out, Brie?
No, not necessarily. I
Okay,
tried to watch all of Centipede years ago, but like I
that's
had to stop.
that's horrible. Why would you do that? That's not even a body horror thing. That's just a why would you? That's just torture. That's just
It's-
that's just cruel and unusual.
It is, but I never finished it, and nor did I start watching the other ones. So maybe it's for the best.
Why did they make more than one?
I don't know, man. There's an audience. It's not me, but there's an audience.
Yeah, you should check out The Substance. It's on HBO Max. Moving on to video games. What have you been playing lately?
So I've got actually not quite a lot, but a pretty decent amount. I've been playing a ton of Hades 2, like probably too much for it to be healthy for me. I don't care. I am
Good.
obsessed
You
with this game, mind, body, and soul.
okay? We're gonna talk about that in a little bit, so don't talk about it too much because I know you've
I
seen.
won't,
I
I
know
won't.
you've seen the thing now because if you've been playing
I
it,
think yeah,
you've seen the
yeah.
thing. You know.
I've
We'll
seen
we'll
the
get
thing.
there. We'll get
I've
there.
seen the thing.
We'll get
We'll
there.
get there. Yeah. So Hades 2, still playing the Binding of Isaac, still in that tumultuous ass relationship. It's nefarious, but it will never stop. Me and my girlfriend are getting to the end of Lies of P, and it kind
Oh,
of sucks.
are you gonna play the
Kind of sucks.
DLC?
We might play the DLC depending on how the game ends, because this last like slog has been a slog, and it's got a lot of high points aesthetically, but gameplay wise, it's leaving a lot to be desired.
The DLC
So
is a prequel.
mhm. Yeah, it is. So
The
hopefully,
DLC makes
fingers
me want
crossed.
to play the main game because the DLC looks
You
so cool,
should.
and they added so
You should.
many. They added so many cool weapons in the DLC that I'm like, I kind of just want to play the DLC. But since the DLC is a prequel, maybe I'll buy the game in the DLC and just play the DLC first.
See first, yeah. I will say there are a lot of cool weapons in the main game too. Like I can't recommend Lies of P enough if you like Souls likes but aren't really used to like the Souls like rhythm. It's a really good game. It's like I think Lies of P is a good one to start with, especially if you're not too good with Souls like I am. Like don't start with Bloodborne like I did. Just don't. Just don't even do it.
I mean, I played Elden Ring.
I want to play Elden Ring really bad, but I'm scared I'm going to get frustrated at it and then not play it. But I'm so interested in the story.
You
and,
could.
Like, the lore that
You
built
could do multiplayer with your partner.
True. I might do that. But yeah, Hades 2, The Binding of Isaac, Lies of P. What else? I Am Bread was free on PSN like a couple weeks ago, so we've been playing that also just for the nostalgia's sake, and that game is just as I don't even know how to describe it. It's exactly as I remember it, for better and for worse. And then I had one more. It was like a big one, and I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, I've been playing Signalis again for a friend of mine, because he asked to like see the game, and in playing it again after not playing it for like a month or so, I have realized that it is internalized in my DNA. Despite me not remembering anything, I remember everything, and it's nefarious. But that's been fun. We're going through the secret ending right now.
Yeah, it'd be like that sometimes. You play a game so many times, and it's been a while since you play it, and you pick it back up, and just that muscle memory kicks back in, and you're just going through the motions.
Yep.
That's me with Metal Gear Solid 4.
And it's like it's really hard not to like skip the dialogue on reflex because he hasn't seen the game before.
Mm.
It's like I've seen all this, and then I'll skip stuff, and you'll be like, "Why are you moving so fast?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm not the intended audience this time."
Yeah. Yeah, for me, always playing Rivals. Played some Rivals last night. Good time. I'm trying to get back to Gold 1. Man, last season, I think I got to like Silver 1. I couldn't get to Gold. Well, no, I was like maybe Gold 3. Um, and just, it's been rough. People are so sweaty in Bronze these days, but I finally got out of Bronze hell. And I'm in Silver, and Silver feels like heaven. I'm like, I'm having a good time again. It's fun.
Right.
I'm winning games. I learned that Rivals has this really weird matchmaking system that may be the reason why I was getting my ass kicked so hard. Where if you win too much, they just make you lose by pitting you against people that you can't beat. And I think
Really
that's
stupid.
what was happening to me because I was like, "What is happening? I've never been losing this bad in my life. I'm good at this game. What's going on?"
Right.
It was insane, but now I'm having fun again.
That's good.
Maybe I lost enough for them to finally start letting me win. But yeah, Rivals is fun. Still playing Ghost Yoti, of course. Not going to talk about this in the review section this time because I don't have much to say. Hades 2. Been playing more of that. Somehow I've been able to go back and forth. I'm surprised that I'm still playing so much Hades 2 because I thought Ghost Yoti was going to take over my life. But then Ninja Gaiden 4 came out, which I'm also playing that. And Hades 2, of course, came out a week or so beforehand. And I was like, just a lot of games. And then Dispatch came out a couple of days after Ninja Gaiden 4. And I'm playing that.
Right.
And I'll talk about all of these later. But moving on to some trailers and news. Talking about Rivals. They added a PvE zombie mode.
Ooh.
In this Marvel Zombies inspired mode, you get to play as Thor, Blade, Magic, Jeff, and the Punisher, taking on endless waves of zombies. Marvel Games executive producer Danny Koo said in the video reveal, "You'll have to survive the Horde, go toe-to-toe with Zombie Namor and the Queen of the Dead as bosses, and fight to save the world from getting totally zombified." So yeah, it's based on the Marvel Zombies animated series on Disney Plus, which I've heard is horrible. And it seems like this mode is much better than the show. I've yet to play it myself because it just didn't look interesting to me. Because it's just a bunch of reused assets and like it just didn't look fun. But people are enjoying it, so I was like, you know what, maybe I'll check it out. But yeah, it looks pretty basic, reusing an existing map. But at least Rivals has PvE, and hopefully it gets better from here because NetEase has been really good about listening to the players. So hopefully we get like a really big, fleshed out, like actual like campaign style PvE mode eventually.
That would be nice.
But yeah, next we have Xbox saying that the next console will be expensive. This is coming from Wesley Yin Poole at IGN. Xbox president Sarah Bond said that the next gen console is going to be very premium, very high end curated, a very high end curated experience. You're starting to see some of the thinking we have in this handheld, the ROG Ally, but I don't want to give it all away. So the reason people think it's going to be, this means that it's going to be expensive because she compares it to the ROG Xbox Ally, which is their handheld that they made in conjunction with ROG, and that cost $1,000. So presumably, the next Xbox will be at least that expensive. I think people are jumping the gun because all signs are essentially pointing toward the next Xbox being a PC with full Windows functionality plus the Xbox OS, probably rather than just the Xbox app and Steam. But the reason I think people are jumping the gun is because there's probably going to be different priced versions of it. There's probably going to be a version of it that does cost like $500, $600, which is unfortunately the price of consoles nowadays. $500 has been the price for a long time, but $600 is wild. But that's honestly probably how much the cheapest one's going to cost. And then there's probably going to be the super mega best version one that's probably like $1,200 or something like that. But like, yeah, it's probably going to come with different SKUs with different prices and different specs. So I think that people are jumping the gun.
Overreacting.
Um,
For sure.
but also Xbox games are coming to other consoles, and Xbox is aware of the fact that their console days are numbered. It's over.
Right.
Um, so like they are aware that they're going to release this expensive thing, and not everybody, most people aren't going to buy this thing. Only the people who are like super enthusiasts, or people like myself who don't own a PC, will probably get one eventually. But if this one comes out before I get to that point, I'll get this instead. Um, so this is definitely Xbox, which is a Microsoft company, is just going to start making PCs, which Microsoft is good at, and is honestly a good idea. And it's gonna
Yeah.
like I said, probably also have Steam on it, maybe the Epic Game Store. So it'll just be an all around good deal for people who want a PC and also an Xbox,
Right.
because they'll have both.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm assuming.
I
We
hope
don't
so.
we don't really know, but it seems like that's what the direction they're going in. But more proof that they're going away from the console game is the fact that we're getting a remake of the Halo campaign Evolved. I sent a trailer for that in Discord,
Yeah.
and we got a trailer and 13 minutes of gameplay. And some journalists got their hands on with the game, and it sounds like it's good, which isn't surprising because it's Halo Combat Evolved. It's a good game. I replayed it with my youngest brother, who never played it before not too long ago, and it holds up. But they didn't just redo the visual design; they also redid the gameplay, modernized that, the audio, music, and they even brought back the original voice cast to redo their lines.
Wow.
Um, they also added the ability for a 4-player co-op online, which previously it was restricted to 2, and you can still do 2-player co-op locally. And they're adding 3 brand new levels to the game, as well as weapons that weren't in the game before, and just a bunch of quality of life stuff that just enhances the game. But like I said, this is a remake of the campaign only, as the name suggests, Campaign Evolved, which is a strange decision.
Very
And I can only imagine that the multiplayer will come eventually, but they wanted to get the campaign out as soon as possible, so they decided to release them separately. Or maybe the multiplayer will be free to play and will come out later, because
nice.
the Halo Infinite multiplayer is free to play.
Mm.
And this is basically Halo Studios, formerly known as 343 Industries, testing out making Halo games in Unreal Engine 5, and essentially trying to figure out how to make a good Halo game. Because
Right.
the last few Halo games people just haven't been messing with. I liked Infinite. I like 4, but 5 people didn't like that a lot. People did not like 5. So yeah, they're trying to like get their groove back. Since Bungie left and did their own thing with Destiny and stopped making Halo games after what is it? Oh, it was not Halo Reach. It was Halo 3. No, it was Reach. Reach was the last one they made. I was thinking about ODST, but ODST I think was before Reach. So ever since Bungie stopped, things have just been downhill. But what are your thoughts? And are you a big Halo person?
I'm actually not, surprisingly. I know of Halo and like I know of its impact on video games, but I'm not that big of a Halo person. Although if this does kind of appeal to me because I've always kind of wanted to get into Halo, so I'd be willing to give it a try.
Definitely a good place to start.
But yeah.
And it has 2-player split screen. So, but yeah, one of the biggest parts of this news is that it'll be on PlayStation Day 1 next year. It's supposed to be coming out 2026. Which isn't a surprise. This was very clearly going to happen after Gears came to PlayStation, but now it's 100% confirmed. Halo, it's coming to PlayStation. Wild to see. Who I don't think anybody thought 25 years ago when the first Xbox came out with Halo that Halo would be on PlayStation and that Xbox would be failing this hard. But ultimately, it's probably a good thing that Xbox is going in this direction. And I'm excited to see what they do, because I feel like things could get real interesting with them focusing on making a PC and focusing on being a publisher versus trying to make a console.
Yeah. It might even bring them out of the gutter.
Yeah. But getting into, just some video game reviews, starting, of course, with Hades 2. So you've been playing it a
Yes,
lot more. You know the thing. Say it. You know it.
I know the thing. I know the thing. So the
Uh,
thing is the surface. I'm
yes.
assuming.
Yes. You can go to the surface. Have
And
you gone to the surface?
I have been up there. I did the incantation so I could stay up there. And honestly, I kind of like it better than the main
I
game.
do
Like
too.
the descent is fun.
It is.
Ascent is way more
The
fun.
ascent is so fun. It's hard
I love the
to force myself like, I guess I gotta go down now. It's still fun, but I'm like going up is
right.
so much more fun.
It reminds me of the Temple of Styx in Hades 1, but it takes out all the things that I hated about the Temple of Styx in Hades 1. And so now it's just an enjoyable experience
Was
all the
that
way around.
the
And I'm so
that was the
mm,
part just before you fought Hades, right?
yep,
Yeah, like where you go through all those doors and it's random. But this one you know what you're gonna get. It's not random.
exactly.
Which is great. And yeah, that part's awesome. But also, how far down have you gotten now?
I've gotten down to what's the area after Oceanus? I can't
The
remember
Morning
the name.
Fields.
Yes, and I got I think all the way to like the room before the boss, and then died.
Okay. So, okay, it's okay for me to say, yeah, there's one more level after that. So there's 4 levels, both up and down, which is not only did they add an up version, but they also added additional level to that. So it's just
Right,
4 down, 4 up. It's insane.
right.
There's just so
The
much. This
scope
game
of
is
the
just
game
so
is
much bigger.
so much larger, and I
It's
am all for it.
Yeah,
No
I'm
fear.
having a good time. I don't know. It's weird having played it in early access and having so much unlocked. So I'm starting playing it with so much unlocked, and I'm just like, oh, there's like I'm not at a point to where I need to unlock a lot of things.
Right.
I'm just doing my runs. Um,
Now, see, I'm in the exact opposite boat where it's like I'm starting completely fresh, and there's so much. There's so much. I did see a post the other day on Tumblr that really kind of made me rethink the way I've been playing the game. It's like Malinois and Zagreus are like two very different styles of combat because the way that the person had brought it up in the post, it was like Zagreus is a berserker, so he's made to get in there and like stay in there, stay in the fray. But Malinois with her like more range AOE effects is designed for not close quarters combat. And I really have to get myself out of the mindset of Zagreus and into the mindset of Malinois because I think that's what's really shooting my runs in the foot. Because I get in there and I try to play like I'm playing with Zagreus, but I'm not.
I think it's true that they play different, but not necessarily in that way because she has melee weapons and she has weapons that are designed for you to get close. And there's also abilities that you get from boons that are like made for getting close. So it's not even that
Right.
he is meant to get up close and she isn't because they both have ranged weapons and melee weapons. It's just a matter of using the cast, which are actually good now.
Right.
You know, using them successfully and just learning how to use the new abilities and the fact that she has a sprint, not just a dash.
A
She can
dash.
dash,
That's the
but she doesn't dash as fast as Zagreus does or as
and
frequently.
that's
So you have
that's
to
the part that
run.
really messes me up.
Have you turned on?
Yeah.
You can turn on auto dash, where I'm an auto run. When you hit the dash button once, Millenway automatically runs. I cut that on because I played early access without it, and then I started using it once I started playing on
I
Switch.
think I have it on, but I'll have to check again because I haven't noticed it different.
Yeah. You said you got just before the boss at the Morning Fields, or did you fight the boss?
Just before the boss.
Oh, okay. The Morning Fields is also another interesting, different area than what we're used to in the game, where you have to go find the stuff in the
Right.
map, in this big map. You just have to run around and find stuff. But
Mhm.
yeah, did Moros ever show
Like
back
it
up?
though. Moros did in fact show back up.
Yeah.
And it was good to see him, smiley face. I have I also unlocked the bathhouse.
Oh,
No,
yes. Yes.
me and Nemesis were in that bath immediately, like as soon as I got the salts, and the next time I saw her, I'm not proud to admit this at all, but I'm going to, because I feel like this is a safe space. I threw my next run so I could get back to the crossroads
Crazy
early and
work.
see her.
Crazy work.
I'm obsessed with Nemesis. I fear she's such an interesting character, and I want to know why she hates Malinois so bad.
Yeah.
Like, what's your beef with
Something
Hero?
that always surprised me when we got into the bathhouse was, I don't know if this is weird, but how slender her neck is despite how buff she is. Because people who are buff tend to
Yeah,
have thick necks, but her neck is so slender, and I was like, how do you do that? But yeah,
it's like I like that a lot, honestly. Um, it kind of builds up like this nice kind of, I guess, dichotomy of like who she is, this warrior, but then who like she can be outside of that and doesn't realize, you know?
hmm.
Yeah.
How far did you manage to get in the on the surface?
I got past the first boss, but that's it.
Yeah, Cyclops.
Yeah, Polyphemus. I was so excited because Greek mythology
Yeah,
is my thing, and I really really like the Odyssey.
yeah. I
So
was
seeing
saying
him, I was like, oh,
a lot of Odyssey in this now that Odysseus is just straight up in the
lot of
game.
Odyssey, and I like that
you're gonna
Hades one.
you're gonna see a lot more Odyssey characters. I'll tell you that much.
I'm excited. Like I like how Hades one was more based on like the Iliad, and so in turn Hades two is like based on the Odyssey. I hope that if in a perfect world they ever made a Hades three, they base it on the Aeneid, which I have not read as closely as the Iliad or the Odyssey, but it's still very very good.
If they make a third Hades, it better be co-op. I want Hades, but co-op. Co-op
Right.
Hades would be so fun. Playing as both Zagreus and Malinois with somebody else would be so fun. But yeah, Ninja Gaiden 4 is out. And I've played the first two chapters so far, and it's fun. The combat is very much an evolution of Ninja Gaiden 2, not 3. Because 3 was very divisive game, and different in a lot of ways that people didn't like. But two was peak. It's my first one. It was my favorite. It's still my favorite one.
Makes sense.
And all the familiar abilities return, but for some reason, a lot of the most basic ones need to be unlocked, which was a really weird decision. And I feel like it'll make it harder for newcomers to get into the game because they don't make it clear just how important some of those techniques are because they're in the upgrade menu once you go to like this store and spend your points to get stuff. And I'm like, all of like 5 of these abilities should have just been basic abilities that are part of your skill set. It's weird that these are locked here because they are like core to the combat loop. But other than
Right.
that, the new addition of unlocking abilities using skill points is a welcome one and is very reminiscent of like Devil May Cry or like Metal Gear Rising Vengeance, where minus the abilities that you should have had from the beginning, you can play the whole game without ever unlocking an upgrade, and you'll still have a good time and a plethora of options. But
Mhm.
the new abilities you unlock are essentially like combos that help you extend your combos and stuff that you don't need, but it's cool. Um,
Oh,
like yeah, it's a good time. So far,
sounds like a good time.
you know, the combat is all the game's got going for it, but that's kind of what hack and slashes are because
Right.
the characters, the story, and the level design so far are very bland. And based on reviews, it's not going to get any better.
Oh.
Hack and slashes, of course, are not known for having the best or most engaging stories, but usually it's made up for by larger than life characters. But the new lead, Yakumo, and his supporting cast are boring as hell. And
Oh, that's a
and
shame.
the level design um feels like stock Unreal Engine cyberpunk environments in comparison
Right.
to the more curated levels of Ninja Gaidens of the past, including 3.
Mm.
And at the end of the day, they did nail what matters most with the combat. And that will definitely carry this game for me, and it has for a lot of people, and it's been getting like 8s across the board. But
Mm.
the like level design and story is what holds it back from being a 9, despite how good the
Right.
combat is. Um, and they just could have done better in those areas. But hopefully this game does well. Hopefully it sells well.
Yeah.
Because of course I want more, and I would like to see how they improve on what they started here. But Ryu's in the game. He's playable in the game in certain sections. I haven't gotten to one of those sections yet. And from what I understand, once you beat the game, you can replay the whole game with Ryu the whole time, and I'm going to do that. Um, Now I'm excited to see how Ryu plays, because that's going to for me be the real test to see how the combat has evolved. Is playing the OG main character, um,
Right.
and seeing how he plays in this new style of combat. Yakumo has this ability called like he has this thing called Blood Raven form, which like enhances his attacks, but they're slower, and it's really cool. And you like hold the left trigger and press the attack buttons, and
Mm.
it's very fun. He has this move that's kind of like I'm sure you've seen gameplay of like Black Myth Wukong where he like stands up on the pole and launches into the air. Yakumo
I
has
believe so,
he
yeah.
can do that, and he can like essentially turn his sword into a giant blood sword and can like push himself into the air and then slam his sword back down. It's cool. It's a good time. Like I said, the combat. It's the best part of the game. It's the part you want to be good, and it's good. So I'm having a good time.
Right.
I'm excited to play some more. But yeah, next we have Dispatch. The first 2 episodes of Dispatch are out, and they were okay. The first 2 episodes were very introductory and didn't necessarily leave you wanting more. For those that don't know, Dispatch is an episodic adventure game developed by Ad Hoc Studio, a studio made of former Telltale devs. You play as Robert Robertson, aka Mecha Man, whose mech suit is destroyed in a battle against his nemesis, forcing him to take a job at a superhero dispatch center, not as a hero, but as a dispatcher, in charge of rehabilitating a group of ex-supervillains. You must manage your roster while navigating office relationships and rebuilding your suit for a shot at revenge. And that's about all you learn in the first 2 episodes. Everything that can be read on the back of the box, which is very disappointing. Um,
Yeah.
it's a very disappointing start to me. It makes me a little bit nervous about the rest of the game. But I hope that it picks up fast. Episodes release every 2 weeks, and there will be a total of 8, so plenty of time to redeem or surprise us all. But overall, I do like the cast of characters, and Aaron Paul as Mecha Man is a really fun character, and he's a very like nonchalant character, and I like characters like that. And he's very fun, and he's kind of just over everything. He just wants to get back to being a superhero, and his chemistry with who it feels like they're setting up as his love interest is very good, and I'm very excited to see where that goes. But so far the choices don't feel like they matter, and I hope that changes, because even though choices in reality barely matter in these types of games, they always manage to still make you feel like they do, which is
Right.
the fun of this whole genre.
Exactly.
And it's especially bad that they don't feel like they matter in this game, since the whole game is an interactive animated series and you don't ever control Robert and like walk around an environment. You just watch.
Really?
Yeah, you just watch admittedly beautifully animated cutscenes and make choices and manage, do the management sim version part of the game. But other than that, you don't really control anything.
That's a fascinating way to do one of these
Yeah.
kinds of games.
And yes,
Definitely wouldn't be my first choice.
yeah, so far this feels like it would have just been better off if it was a show rather than a game. And I feel like Ad Hoc is kind of proving why these types of games have parts where you walk around and explore the environment, and why those things are actually important to these types of games, because without it, it just doesn't feel like a video game. It feels like I'm just watching a show. And at that point, it's just like, why not just make it a show?
Right.
Hopefully the full package is better than these first 2 episodes. There's going to be 8 episodes in total. So only a quarter way through it, but I don't know, man. So far, it's kind of disappointing. I'm kind of disappointed. I want it to be good though.
Sounds disappointing.
Hopefully it picks up. But yeah, that's all I got. If you don't have anything else.
Yeah. I don't have anything.
All right. Well, you can find all of our ads in the link in the description. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more storytelling content, and to click the notification bell so that you're notified when we post. Peace.